I'm going to say one thing about Mueller is that nobody knows anything about what's coming actually out of that investigation. All the reporting is from
when can it come, though? Can it come now?
I mean, I don't know. It could come anytime on it. Like what we think, like some of what our reporting on the fringes, which is all people have, is sort of talking to these kind of lawyers, is that you wouldn't expect Mueller to drop any kind of bombshell now before the midterms. You're very sort of cognizant of the criticism Comey faced when he unveiled a lot of the Clinton investigation stuff leading up to that election. So sort of if you want to, like, the conventional wisdom in Washington now is that don't expect any more Mueller bombshells until after November 6th. The only caveat I would put on that is nobody knows anything.
Right. I thought so, but what about him wanting to? I thought he had told people he was going to finish up by the end of summer, too.
He hasn't told anybody that. I mean, these are a lot of things we're hearing as conjecture from lawyers saying it'll be done by Thanksgiving, it'll be done by the New Year, it'll be done by Labor Day, it'll be done when it's done. And only the person who knows that is Robert Mueller.
So we'll go back to trade now. Will Congress do a Mexico-only trade deal?
Probably not, but I think there's a lot of moving pieces here. The president, as you know, on Friday extended that deadline. I mean, the one thing I think it's important to notice about Washington, particularly Congress, all of these deadlines are very malleable. They can always sort of go back and change the rules however they want to push it back. I think a lot of people on the Hill didn't like NAFTA. I mean, didn't want NAFTA to be completely overhauled the same way Trump did. So I think without having Canada in there, it makes it much more difficult to pass scrutiny on the Hill. But remember, there's a lot of moving parts here. We've got a midterm election coming up. So what does the Congress look like when this new trade deal finally gets there? Is it going to be a Democratic-controlled Congress if it drags on into next year? That changes the calculus immensely as well.
And we don't know how Democrats feel necessarily about trade. In the past, they may have liked some of this stuff, but they can't like it because it's Trump. So I don't know how that works.
Right. And which Democrats are you talking about here? There's a Bill Clinton, one of the Democrats that created NAFTA, and there's now like the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders Democrats who are far closer to where Trump is on NAFTA.
That's what I mean, so but I don't think they can say that.
Well, I mean, Bernie Sanders certainly will, but I think that's where it puts leadership in this tough spot. That's why being the next Speaker of the House is no fun. And while Paul Ryan quit, no matter who gets the job, is going to have to sort of juggle these competing interests here to figure out where's the sweet spot where you can get 218 votes for anything.
I mean, we're having a midterm, I know that, but if Kavanaugh is confirmed before that, it just really changes a lot of things, a lot of the calculus for Democrats and Republicans in the country and everything else. Do you expect that to happen before the midterms?
I think Kavanaugh absolutely will be confirmed, unless there's some sort of bombshell that's going to happen in the building behind me sometime this week. He is on a very clear glide path to getting this done by probably the end of the month. And so I think instead of looking at for the changing the dynamic, it's going to be an issue that people hammer on in the midterms. Republicans will say, look, we've got 2 Supreme Court justices so far. You've got to back Republican candidates so we can get more. And then Democrats, of course, will say they are remaking the federal judiciary. We've got to get these guys out of office.
Yeah. I think about, you guys want in with Nick?
I was going to ask about the tech companies coming to Capitol Hill this week. I mean, is this an issue that really can unite left and right, whether it comes before the midterms or before 2020? Should those companies be a little bit more worried than perhaps the share prices suggest they are?
I think they're absolutely showing their worry by sending some of their top executives to the Hill tomorrow. Absolutely 100% this is an issue, I think, that unites left and right. In this hearing tomorrow, looking for attacks from both sides. Republicans will criticize both these platforms for silencing conservative voices. Democrats will criticize both of these platforms for not doing enough to silence some of these kind of voices. These platforms are in a really tough spot because they're making this transition to publisher, where they have to make these decisions on who is and who isn't on these platforms. And that opens up to immense criticism on both sides of the aisle.